Hey, what's up everybody? Good to see you again. Today's video is going to be a lot more personal. I'm just going to share with you guys my testimony. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I gave my life to God at 13 years old. If you saw my last video, I mentioned it a little bit. Basically, I'm 23 now and I've been walking with God for the last 10 years. But what led to it, right? What led to my salvation? So my mom, she kept us in church about as best she could as kids, but we didn't really pay attention. We didn't really care too much. For us, we weren't like PKs or preacher's kids. We were, just regular kids coming to church with our mom just because she said we had to. And then somewhere in middle school, like around when I was in about middle school age, she stopped making us go. And she was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to church. If y'all wanna come, y'all can. If not, don't even worry about it. So I was just staying home. Me and my brother would just stay home. We would play video games. We would just chill. And then mom would get home from church and that'd be that. Until 8th grade hit. Once 8th grade hit, my personality had changed a lot. Originally as a kid, I was really quiet. I didn't like talking at all. I liked to read books. I stayed to myself for the most part. Didn't really like people at all. In fact, there were some people I really hated. When family would come over, company would come over, I wanted to stay in my room. I wasn't social. I didn't want to be social. I was very timid. I didn't have many leadership qualities to me. Just overall, I just liked being by myself. I love being isolated. And even now, sometimes I still like it. But that was like originally, like when mom was taking us to church, that's kind of how it was for me. And then around middle school, that's whenever people starting to branch out a bit, trying to figure out who they are, by being things that they aren't. And I fell victim to that, and I became this really dark person. Fell in love with really dark humor. I started cussing a lot. I started just being really mean to people. I started making fun of everybody, to the point where people who were my best friends, I was starting to push them away. I was hurting my relationship with my mom, my brother, my sister, my whole family. I was just really violent and aggressive with how I talked to people. I was very selfish with my own emotions and didn't really care much about how somebody else might feel. And to be honest, I was really just a product of my environment. I was just acting the way that people around me were acting. Fast forward to the end of 8th grade year, right before high school. So school semester just ended. It was the beginning of summer and I'm sitting there in the living room with my mom. We were watching the Tyler Perry movie. I think it was Why Did I Get Married? Whichever one it was the movie where the couples were getting a divorce, where they was all trying to figure out should they get divorced or not. Somebody in there was make a T-chart of the good things and the bad things about your marriage, and if the good outweighs the bad, then stay married, and if not, then get married, then get divorced. And so I took that same principle and I was like I don't know why, but that just struck me. I was like, dang, I don't know why, but just watching that movie made me feel like I should do that with myself, my identity, my personality, who I am and stuff like that, because I felt like I was losing a lot of people around me that I did care about, and it was really hurting. And I was like, I got so much pain, but I'm also I feel like I'm also the reason for the pain. So I asked my mom, I was like, Ma, what should I do with this? And she was like, you're gonna have to talk to God about that. I can't help you with everything. You're gonna have to go talk to God. So I went ahead and I grabbed a piece of paper. I grabbed a pencil or a pen or something like that, something to write with. And I went into the bathroom and I locked myself in the bathroom. And we had one of those slide door, locked bathroom doors. So it wasn't so I slid the door shut, locked it, and put the pencil and the paper down on the counter and looked in the mirror. And as soon as I looked in the mirror, it was so much pain just welled up at the same time. Cause I looked in the mirror and I was like, I don't really know who I am no more. When I looked at myself, I was like, I don't recognize me. I ended up crying for an hour or two straight in the bathroom. And then I went on ahead and eventually the tears stopped, picked up my pencil and my paper, and I made a T-chart about the things that I thought about myself were good and bad. And the good stuff was I want to say it was 5 things. I was like, okay. And then the bad stuff went front to back on that piece of paper. And so right then and there, 13 years old, in between middle school and high school, I realized I was heading down the wrong path by trying to do stuff myself, by leaning on my own understanding when it came to things, by caring more about myself than other people when it came to emotions and relationships and stuff. And so I really was just it's time for a change. Right then and there in that bathroom, I gave my life to God and decided to do that. And then I also decided to go ahead and get baptized that summer. I told my mom I wanted to get baptized. I ended up getting baptized that summer with my brother. We got baptized together. Yeah, so that's kind of just, in a nutshell, that's my testimony. That's what happened. And since then, there have been a lot of ups and downs. It hasn't been easy over this last decade being a Christian. I'm over 10 years in. And God has really blessed me. He's really come through in a lot of different ways, and he's really changed me in a lot of ways. I want to say just about everything that was on that negative list, God turned it around for his glory, and it's no longer negative in my life. I now have a lot of friends around me. My family loves me. My friends love me. I have a girlfriend who loves me. I love myself better now. I actually enjoy being around people and being social. And it's just so many different, I'm not rude to people like I used to be. I don't cuss at people like I used to be. I've learned to be more patient with people and even with myself. I used to be somebody who didn't want to lead and wasn't good at finishing things that I would start, and now I'm starting to get into that habit of, I'm finding myself in leadership positions, and it's easier for me to stay determined and stick something through and all the way and see it all the way through. But that's just my testimony. I just felt like today was a good day to share it with y'all. I hope it encourages you to think back on your own testimony, because for you it might not have been just one day. For me, it was one day. For you, it might have been something else. It could have been just like over time. It just was like God, you just kept feeling God tugging on you over time. But whatever, understand your testimony, know it, and be willing to share it with other people. And so yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope this was an encouraging message for you. I hope this was something that blessed you, and I hope you start sharing your testimony. I love you. Can't wait to see you next video. Peace.